Portuguese Ceylon refers to the control of the Kingdom of Kotta by the Portuguese Empire, in present-day Sri Lanka, after the country's crisis of the 16th century and into the Kandyan period. Portuguese presence in the island lasted from 1505 to 1658. Their arrival was largely accidental, seeking control of commerce over territorial conquest. Their appearance coincided with the political upheaval of the Wijayabhara and were drawn into the internal politics of the island as they sought to establish control over the lucrative cinnamon trade that originated there. The Portuguese used these internal divisions to their advantage during the Sinhalese-Portuguese War. Direct Portuguese rule inside the island did not begin until after the death of Dharmapala of Kotta, who died without an heir and who by 1580 bequeathed the Kingdom of Kotta to the Portuguese monarch. This allowed the Portuguese sufficient claim to the Kingdom of Kotta upon Dharmapala's death in 1597. Portuguese rule began with much resistance by the local population. Eventually, the Kingdom of Kandy sought help from the Dutch Empire in their efforts to rid the island of the Portuguese. The Dutch Empire initially entered into agreement with the Kingdom of Kandy. After the collapse of the Iberian economy in 1627, the Dutch-Portuguese War saw the Dutch conquest of most of Portugal's Asian colonies. Eventually, Portugal's Ceylonese territories were ceded to the Netherlands. Nevertheless, there remain elements of Portuguese culture in Sri Lanka today from this colonial period. History. First contact between Sri Lanka and the Portuguese happened in 1505–6. It was largely accidental, and it wasn't until 12 years later that the Portuguese sought to establish a fortified trading settlement. Sinhalese-Portuguese War. Portuguese rule. Direct Portuguese rule began after the death of Dharmapala of Kotta, who bequeathed the Kingdom of Kotta to the Portuguese monarch. By 1600 the Portuguese had consolidated the main centres of rebellion, the Kelani and Kalu-Ganga basins, leaving the border regions left to Sinhalese resistance. Revolts. In the 2 decades after the establishment of Portuguese rule there were 4 major revolts. Kangara-Arakchi Revolt, 1603. First Kuruvita Rala Revolt, 1603. Second Kuruvita Rala Revolt, 1616–19. Nikopitiya Bandara Revolt, 1616–17. Dutch-Portuguese War administration. Portuguese captains. Portuguese captain majors. Portuguese captain generals. Bibliography. De Silva, M. A History of Sri Lanka, India. University of California Press. ISBN 0-520-04320-0. C. Gaston Pereira, Kandy Fights the Portuguese. Sri Lanka. Vijitha Yapa Publications, July 2007. ISBN 978-955-1266-77-6. Channa Wikramasekhara, Kandy at War, Sri Lanka. Vijitha Yapa Publications, 2004. ISBN 955-809552-4. Michael Roberts, Sinhala Consciousness in the Kandyan Period, Sri Lanka. Vijitha Yapa Publications, 2004. ISBN 955-8095-31-1. Abazinghi, Tikuri, Jaffna under the Portuguese. Colombo. Stamford Lake. p. 66. ISBN 955-1131-70-1. Kunursa, K. The Jaffna Dynasty. Johor Bahru. Dynasty of Jaffna Kings Historical Society. p. 122. ISBN 955-8455-008. Nana Prakasa, Swami. A Critical History of Jaffna. New Delhi. Asian Educational Services. p. 122. ISBN 81-206-1686-3. Senekar Weeraratna, Repression of Buddhism in Sri Lanka by the Portuguese, 2005.